Hey folks, Davy here, and I'm super excited to share this video with you today. Now, this is based on my perception over the last number of years and based on what I imagine that humanity is going through, that so many of us are going through at this time. And I just want to share that, everywhere I look, I see hurt, I see pain, I see disease. I imagine that so many of our societal programs and how we show up in our lives are broken. We are surrounded by misguided information, internet gurus, leaders in government, misinformation from the media. We look to pharmaceuticals, the food industry, doctors, some, not all, for answers when it is glaringly obvious that these things are no longer working for us, even if they once did. We have disease and obesity, diabetes, cancer, all kinds of cancers, all kinds of issues. Mental health issues are really running rampant now. One in every three people in a room deals with some sort of mental health issue. We have the food industry telling us to eat wheat, milk, cereal, dairy, chips and pop. Like, that's the most easy thing to get our hands on. Things like McDonald's are super, super cheap to buy, whereas, if you want to buy fruit and vegetables, it's going to cost you so much more. We have schools telling us to grow up, to get a job, to fit in. And if you don't find the curriculum easy or interesting, chances are you have a learning ability and you're probably not going to make it so far. We have corrupt governments making false promises, taking huge salaries while making these promises that are taking more and more of our freedoms away with each and every single passing day. We only need to look to the last couple of years to realize this. Now, the general population is so plugged in such a zombie-like state, walking around, jacked into headphones, our mini screens, disconnected from our feelings, disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from each other, our families, and the planet. I imagine that we have lost our way. We've lost our childlike innocence. We've lost our ability to play and to dance. We no longer know how to eat, how to exercise, how to play, how to love, or how to laugh. In essence, we no longer know how to feel. We don't know how to live anymore. Again, this is my perspective, my imagination. You don't have to agree with it, but I imagine we are confused and overwhelmed at every turn, super stressed all the time. Work runs most of our lives. We try to make ends meet to keep up to the demands of bills and taxes, working at jobs that we no longer are interested in, and somehow, some way, we feel backed into this corner or this rut or this idea of being stuck. So, what are we supposed to do? I imagine it's time that we reclaim ourselves. It's time to reclaim the power that we once all held. And with each piece of ourselves that we reclaim, I imagine that we're liberated from our fears and come more in alignment with the force that we were born, the purity that we were born, the wholeness, the health that we were born into. Now, as I stated on a previous video, understanding true health, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, that there are 7 universal laws. Right? And these laws enable us to tune into the frequency that is and always has been not only within you and around you, but it is you. So aligning to the laws is a path to take us there. But how do you get to the path in the first place? The easiest and quickest way, in my opinion, is to tune in to this universal power, otherwise known as Source, God, the unified field. It doesn't really matter what you call it. And it simply begins with self-discovery. So how many of you have actually taken any period of time to do courses or learn breathwork or to really learn the neurophysiological capabilities of this incredible machine with which your spirit resides in? I imagine that in today's day and age, that ignorance, when you ignore something, doesn't mean it doesn't have anything to do with your intellectual capabilities. It means you're ignoring. So ignorance is saying, All of these amazing tools and things are out there, but they probably won't work for me. So I'm just gonna ignore them, and I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue to show up habitually in my life. I'm gonna continue to operate on autopilot. There are incredible mystery schools like Training in Power, like Masters of the Void, that I would suggest you begin to look at. There are millions of self-help books and personal growth type books to expand your mind, or even to tap into and change your mindset and really get to the past emotions that are keeping you from staying in your feelings. Two incredible books that I really love are Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck, and The Sedona Method, Your Key to Lasting Happiness, Success, Peace, and Emotional Well-Being by Hale Dwoskin. Now, Mindset talks about the difference between having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Now, the fixed mindset says things are the way they are. I'm at my emotional, physical capacity. There's not really anything I can do to change. And a growth mindset, well, it says, hey, no matter where I am in my life, I can learn, I can heal, I can expand more, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Now, the Sedona method really talks about emotions and how emotions are like these little bubbles. And there are lower based emotions, and then there are higher based emotions, right? The higher based emotions, I imagine, we're talking more about feeling and being able to stay in the heart. The lower based emotions are when we get triggered in our lives it takes us back to the first time that we felt unworthy, or that we were stepped on or put down or held back, right? And so those emotions come up like anger or sadness or shyness or shame, and that trigger is an opportunity for us to actually pause, thank the external world, the person, for showing us the trigger, and then going back into those emotions to unpack them and let them go so that we can get back into our hearts and get back into the feeling state. So two incredible books that you might want to check out. Of course, there are different kinds of intelligence, right? There's intellectual intelligence, there's emotional intelligence, physical and spiritual intelligence. And I imagine when we come back into alignment, we'll have the intelligence in all of those aspects of ourselves. So the physical, you can look at getting a coach or a nutritionist, someone that can guide you to peak physical condition while putting together maybe a nutrition plan, supplementation, nootropics, right, to help you cultivate a muscular, energetic body and vessel that carries the life force. It is the temple. Now, the intellect, when we actually learn about things that really excite us, whatever you gravitate towards, chances are that's your calling. Chances are that's part of your mission, right? And if you love it and you love learning it and working at it and become a master at it, it won't seem like work at all. Instead, it will excite you. It will make every single day an exciting adventure. Now, I mentioned the physical body before. I'd really suggest that you learn about the physical body, the mind-body connection, and how this incredible instrument, the most incredible computer that we will ever have access to, actually runs and operates. Because that, to me, is the foundation for everything. Then we've got emotional intelligence. So how can we learn to let go of the old baggage, the old deeper emotions, the past hurts, right? The traumas, the old feelings that really allow us to get back into our feelings, into our heart, to not make ourselves wrong for feeling a certain way or for dealing with those emotions, but instead to use them as teachers, right? To actually peel back those layers of the onion as they come, so that you can peel them off, you can go deeper. And I always say with this work, there are layers and levels to it, right? So we don't necessarily need to control them, but we can observe them. We can learn to trust the process and let them go, integrate them. The spiritual aspect, or the spiritual intelligence, in my humble opinion, really is about connecting to love, first within ourselves, and then to each other, then to the planet, and then the entire universe, right? So we're actually made up of this universal love, and we can learn, we can remember how to tap into it. We can let go of being the victims in our lives to become the victor, the creator, right? The producer, the director, the star of the movie that is our life. And I imagine that so many of us have gotten used to being the extra in the movie of our life. We've gotten used to being a silent on camera. We've gotten used to giving others the power and making others the star of the film of our life, whether it's our boss or our family members or, the doctor or the lawyer or the police officer or the government, right? And that's akin to us taking our power back from them and saying, okay, you guys can be stand-ins at times and you can be in my film if I invite you, but for the most part, I'm the star of my movie, right? And so how can you start to be the star of the movie that is your life? One of my favorite quotes says that we can dream our dreams with open eyes and live the life we've imagined. We can dream our dreams with open eyes and make them come true. So if we can only learn to go inside, we will learn that you are greater than the sum of your fears. You are greater than any circumstance. You are greater than the power that you've given to the outside world. And you can learn to do and be more than you've ever dreamed possible. When the time is right for you, I suggest that you begin to connect with this undeniable force from within. Now, I mentioned meditation before. I mentioned breathwork before. I mentioned movement. These are all tools with which you can actually implement into your life. You can learn, and when you begin to show up for yourself day in and day out to go into these practices, you can come out feeling more like yourself than you've ever felt before. I mentioned training in power in the past. There are so many incredible tools available to us at this time. And all you have to do is open up to the idea that something within you is more beautiful, more powerful than any external circumstance. And when you open up, that's actually step one to the freedom method. When you open up to new possibilities, new perspectives, to the idea that you can create a new identity for yourself, then all of a sudden you can start to see some of the pieces of your puzzle and you can start to put some of those pieces together. Now, maybe you've thought about some of these puzzle pieces before, but have been on the fence about starting. What if it doesn't work, or it's too hard, or I can't change, whatever the thoughts are that are going on in your head. Just realize that you can change. Now, change is hard, right? And it takes time and commitment and discipline and all those things. But when you open up to it, the tools, the mentors, the retreats, the teacher can come into your life, right? And then all you have to do is commit to doing those things, and all of a sudden you're on your way to creating that disciplined practice to align the mind, body, spirit aspects of who you truly are and what you're truly capable of. So whether you want to change your career, your body, your relationships, your mindset, your nutrition levels, maybe you have limiting beliefs that actually keep you from achieving these changes, from stepping into these changes. So maybe your subconscious mind is keeping you stuck, or those subconscious limiting beliefs, or that fixed mindset, right? The beautiful thing about everything that I'm sharing with you is that it's all been proven scientifically that everything in our universe is made up of energy, right? And if you think that your thoughts, your feelings, and those from previous relationships or childhood misfortunes hasn't in some way impacted you and is still being carried around inside somehow, somewhere, it's actually carried around in ourselves. We come back with our Akashic records or our cellular memory from lifetime after lifetime. So if you think that none of that is impacting you and you've dealt with the things intellectually, I would have to say you're mistaken. And again, this is from my experience. You don't have to believe me. In fact, I don't want you to believe me. I actually want you to experience it for yourself, but you have to open to the idea that something within you is greater than any circumstance. Right? So before you make any judgments on what I'm saying, I want to invite you to open up and to begin to try some of these things. Now, I know, or at least I imagine, that so many people aren't necessarily interested in exploring their demons or their subconscious programs or the fears that are within. Maybe you're happy with things the way that they are, and that's okay. But the day that you begin to explore the very depths of you is the day that you truly begin to live, that you truly begin to leave your own legacy, right? It is the day that you truly find out who you really are and what you're truly capable of. Now, one of my favorite poems, called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, she says that as you are liberated from your own fears, your presence automatically liberates others. So when you're ready to explore all of the possibilities and really live an extraordinary life, I challenge you. Stop hiding out in nothingness. Find yourself. Grow and become. Become unbroken, become unbreakable, become unfuckwithable. Also in the poem, she states, our fear is not that we are inadequate. Our fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. You are so powerful. I really invite you into this opportunity to discover just how powerful you are, to unlock incredible amounts of health, of wellness, of focus, bringing balance back into your life, bringing peak performance into every area of your life. You know, you can optimize your health and mindset. You can have deeper connections and relationships. You can develop this type of peak performance and live a truly fulfilled, abundant, beautiful, happy, healthy life in every area, on every level. And so with that, I invite you into the Origen network. It's origin.network. All of the links and everything will be below, so you can check them out. You can check out free breathwork sessions. You can check out free meditations. I've got workouts on there. You can check out all this stuff. And then we've got a community, an ecosystem of tools, from breathwork deep dives to meditation work to workouts to what I call the Sacred Self program to my Freedom Method, that you can come in, you can check out, and if it resonates with you, we can take you deeper and support you in your journey to coming back to the origin of yourself, to coming back to the origin, the original nature of who you truly are and what you're truly capable of. Now, if you like this video, I want you to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications, ring that little bell so that you can join me and be up to date on our next videos. I'm going to be doing a whole slew of these videos, so I want you to tune in and come on the ride, the journey of a lifetime, back to you, back to your highest self, back to who you truly are and what you're truly capable of. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.